Our tale of the tape for this bout of 140 pounds amateur kickboxing, Dan Williams versus Brad Solomon. The numbers presented by Tintmaster.
Dan Williams is 2 years his elder, very similar in all the other stats. Both these guys have a similar build. Dan Williams will have an inch and a half for each reach advantage.
Back we go to Brian Wood.
By Tintmaster, helping all the good people of Kansas City do it in the dark for over 50 years. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Dan Williams. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Brad Solomon. Oh baby, let's go.
Nick Barron's a regular referee in both Kansas and Missouri. You've seen him in BKFC. You've seen him in the UFC.
Red corner ready.
Tonight, one of two referees along with Mike England here in FAC. The bell, round number one as Nick Barron starts this AMI kickboxing bout. Black and green trunks for Dan Williams, black and white trunks for Brad Solomon. Tonight's fight clock is presented by Hoy Excavating.
Sorry, Sean. Like I mentioned in the tail of the tape, both these guys have a similar build, both taller, longer fighters. Let's see who's able to use those weapons just a little bit better.
On the teep, looking to the body is Dan Williams, now to the head. A kick attempt from Brad Solomon. Low kick, partially checked.
And that doesn't feel good. You saw a visible reaction from Dan Williams after throwing that kick. That was checked.
Long jab from Dan Williams. Williams, again, the rear right kick. Low blow, suffered by Williams, and time called. Immediate recognition from referee Nick Barron's.
That's going to happen, you know, completely incidental. It was an accident. Here we see both gentlemen throwing kicks. And then here on the second go around, maybe a foot catches the cup there. That's going to happen. Both gentlemen throwing kicks. You can tell both these guys are used to using those longer weapons, going against shorter sparring partners and opponents. So they're both trying to implement the long teeps, the long jabs, the check hooks. It's just who's ever going to be able to use that better, whoever has the better timing.
Dan Williams has up to 5 minutes to recover. Looks like he will take less than 90 seconds. Good refereeing from Nick Barron's. We would expect nothing less from Barron's. The recognition, the time called, the procedure. Dan Williams is ready, right back to it, time end.
Small cut on the left shin of Dan Williams for one of those check kicks.
There's the body kick, and the 1-1-2 on the return. Williams again with that rear right kick. Jab from Solomon, straight left hand. There's the two, thrown the rear right hand from Williams. Slight forward walk pressure now from Brad Solomon. Hard on the low kick goes Williams.
The old monkey see, monkey do. Williams took a low kick, returned with his own, and his landed a little harder and took the balance off away from Brad Solomon.
Almost a jump teep kick there. On the low kick now from Solomon. Solomon closing distance. Forward now comes Dan Williams, moving this fight back to the center of the cage.
That last one was checked, but almost a little too late to start checking him. The damage has been done. He's gonna need to change something up here.
Closing stages, round number one, scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds. A kick just off the mark from Solomon.
Oh, that one was checked. Ow, then we just see the cut open up a little bigger on the, I always cringe at those, Sean. Sorry, I can't help it. I know how bad that hurts. It's one of the most painful things that can happen in this sport. An early kick was checked by Brad Solomon that Dan Williams threw earlier in the fight. I saw a visible reaction from it. And here in the replay, we see that low kick. It was returned. Williams landed the harder one. Beautiful feint of the teep. And that puts all your weight on that front leg when you're feinting it. He lands right into the low kick and it hurts Dan Williams. Beautiful display of kickboxing from both. But what we saw towards the end of that round, Sean, was Williams being hesitant because the damage has accrued on the leg. There's no going back after that. There's no going back. The damage has been accrued, and you got to figure it out. Can you fight from the other stance? How do you avoid the low kick for the rest of the 2 rounds if this goes to a decision? And it's tough to do once the damage has been done.
Seconds out called, ready for round number 2. The cut On Williams' left shin, definitely continuing to leak blood. Round number 2 underway. Forward pressure off the right hand comes Dan Williams to start the second round. On the overhand right.
Corner must solidify under Dan Williams, saying, hey, you need to get after him. You know, it's hard to throw a low kick while going backwards. It's very tough to do. And if Brad Solomon is going backwards the whole time, he can't hurt Dan Williams just like he did there with the low kick.
Ruled a knockdown by referee Nick Behrens. And now here comes the 10 count.
7.
The knockdown on the low kick, beautifully thrown and landed by Brad Solomon.
And when your leg is hurting from a low kick like that, you don't want to hang out too much on your butt. You don't want to be seated. You want to get right back on your feet. It gets tougher and tougher the longer you're seated. You got to think Solomon's going back to that kick.
1:15 remaining, round number 2. Smart forward pressure now off the jab for Brad Solomon, recording the knockdown with the low kick here in the second round. Low kick just off the mark from Solomon, back to the jab. Williams off his back foot, coming forward off the 1-2. Hard feint on that cut on the shin, and you can see Dan Williams wincing. Almost a clash of knees. Barrage of low kicks down the right hand. Another right hand from Williams, changing the tempo.
This is what Williams needs to do, Sean. He needs to get after him. If he's backing up, that means a low kick can land. Very difficult to throw a low kick with enough power to hurt you going backwards.
Almost a bolo punch to the body from Solomon. Left uppercut from Williams. Hard on the low kick again. Solomon continuing to be extremely effective with his low kicks.
You hear Solomon's corner imploring him to throw a high kick, right? Once you have someone hurt with something, you can use that to then feint it. Get a reaction and then go to something else.
Knockdown number 2.
Solomon shaking his head at his corner as if he doesn't want to continue. I think this is going to be over, yeah.
The count of 10 reach and the win for Brad Solomon, now 2-0 in amateur kickboxing.
Beautiful display of low kicks. Guys, those of you at home, if you've never been hit with a low kick, I won't say I recommend it, but if you ever have a couple drinks and you know a fighter, go ahead and try it out. Just let them land one, and you'll know what it feels like. You know, nothing against Solomon. These things hurt. This is so painful. To feel a low kick like this land on your leg, it's.
He tapped out. Is that correct?
Sorry, excuse me. There's a reason he went down. There's a pain factor attributed to the low kick, and it's like nothing you've ever felt before. Your leg goes numb, but while it's numb, it also hurts. Sean, you've trained before. You know what it feels like.
Life-changing.
Yeah, especially with no shin guards in the gym. You're used to a shin guard being on. It's very important, and we see it now more in MMA fights too, the importance of being able to address a low kick, whether it's to the calf or the thigh. This is the reason why it needs to be addressed early, and nothing lost for Solomon. He showed some toughness, but beautiful display. Or sorry, nothing against Daniel Williams, but Solomon displayed a beautiful just range of kickboxing there.
You saw our fight replays there, presented by Major Pack. With our official announcement, we send it into the cage with Brian Wood. It is presented by Milagro Tequila.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has ended at 1 minute and 59 seconds of the second round. Your winner by KO due to strikes, out of the red corner, Brad Solomon.
If he chooses to do MMA, like I hear he wants to, he has a beautiful future ahead of him in the striking department, as we've seen here today with his kickboxing. And both gentlemen will learn from this. Both landed great big shots on each other. I think going forward here in the replay, we see that 1-2. He comes out pretty hot in the second round, lands that cross right in the chin. And this was the end of the fight here. Low kick just lands right on the thigh, and once that thigh's been tenderized a little bit, a strong gust of wind will hurt you there. And this is what Dan needed to do the second he realized he was hurt. It's not easy to do, and granted, it being his first fight, the awareness and the IQ to, hey, I'm hurt on my leg. If I get touched here again, I won't be able to continue. So make it a dirty fight. Get up in your face. Dan will learn from this. Again, beautiful win for Bradley Solomon.
In our opening bout of the evening, the winner by way of second round knockout, Brad Solomon defeats Dan Williams.